mean, much more controversially, at Margaret Thatcher's state funeral. Yeah, there were protesters there. You know.
Yeah, we've always had protesters.
You remember what happened? The rest of the crowd just shunned them.
Yeah.
It was turned away. That was it. It was dealt with. The crowd.
By the crowd.
And not the police going over and arresting them.
The police argument, so far as I can understand it, is that because Republican protesters might offend monarchist crowds that have a great sensitivity and get thumped, therefore causing a breach of the peace, the best thing is to remove the protesters.
Well, move them on then, but don't charge them. And the exception I put in the letter, when I wrote to the head of Police Scotland, I said, look, if there was violence or the threat of violence, of course, then the right thing to do is to charge them. But if it's simply exercising the right to say, I'm a Republican, I don't approve of monarchy, I mean, that's the opposite of my point of view, then that's not a reason to charge them.
It's free debate. I get the sense, I'm not sure about this, we're not going to have a vigorous argument on this subject, but let's remind ourselves that these people they're now holding up blank pieces of paper in Edinburgh as part of the protest. Do you think this is there's a danger this escalates? We see much bigger demonstrations we've had before.
That's the problem with charging people. You see, that's the problem with charging. If you charge people, you create a cause célèbre. You create martyrs to the cause. You don't do that. Even from a raw politics point of view, you don't do that.
In short, not only heavy-handed, but slightly panicky policing.
Well, ill thought through.
Ill thought through. All right.
Probably right.
David Davies, thanks very much indeed for coming in and talking to me. This afternoon, King Charles was in Belfast for a prayer service at St Anne's Cathedral. Now, of course, for obvious reasons, Republican feeling is very strong across much of Northern Ireland. The King's uncle, who was in many ways a father figure to him, was murdered by the IRA in 1979. But things have moved on a long way. Earlier today, the leader of Sinn Féin, Michelle O'Neill, warmly praised the Queen as courageous and gracious and someone who'd advanced peace and reconciliation there. But Sinn Féin remains, of course, Republican and will not join any events which mark King Charles's accession to the throne. So what does the arrival of the new king mean for Northern Ireland? John McDowell is ecclesiastical head of the Church of Ireland and Archbishop of Armagh, and he was closely involved in today's service, and I'm glad to say he joins me now. Archbishop, welcome. You praised the Queen warmly, the late Queen warmly, in your speech for the amount of work she did on reconciliation across the communities. In short, what do you think the arrival of King Charles III means for Northern Ireland's communities?
Well, in terms of the role of the monarch, it looks as though it's steady as she goes. He seems to have picked up the same themes. I think would have been involved in the background in any case. I think possibly the Queen was slightly more, but only slightly more overt in her use of Christian language and Christian faith for those sorts of discussions and statements about reconciliation. But I think a lot of people from all sides of the community will be pretty reassured that certainly no damage will be done to the cause of reconciliation, and that hopefully the King can play his part the way his mother did, judiciously from time to time, saying things.
Now, not a whisper of disrespect in this, but you represent the Episcopalian Church, which is not the biggest organisation in Northern Ireland. You have the Catholic community to one side of you, as it were, and you have the other Protestant churches to the other. Your reflection, therefore, on what the nationalist and Catholic community feel about the monarchy at the moment, because Sinn Féin have been very respectful in their response to the Queen's death. They're telling their supporters not to tweet, to count to 10 before they tweet, and all of that. So what do you think the nationalist community feel about this?
Well, it's impossible for me to second guess what individuals in the nationalist community think. The very fact that, although this service today was held in an Anglican cathedral, it was an ecumenical service, so I was joined by my very good friend and counterpart, the Catholic Archbishop of Armagh, and by the leaders of the other Protestant churches. So my sense with the Catholic community is obviously people aren't going to become fanatical monarchists overnight because there's been a change in sovereign or because they've been asked not to tweet. But I think there is now a regard for the monarchy or for the monarch as a person who has the goodwill of everyone in Northern Ireland at heart, and for the citizenship of everyone in Northern Ireland at heart, and therefore a bit like a very unusual way the nationalist community was able to get behind the First World War commemorations. So sometimes the most unlikely things become ways to bridge a gap where there are virtually no other common objects of desire and of consent in Northern Ireland.
The King has been put through an extraordinarily hectic schedule of travelling and services and acts of remembrance. And have you had a chance to speak to him? He seemed to be particularly emotional over the last couple of days, absolutely unsurprisingly.
No, well, I haven't had a chance to speak to him in the sense that, apart from saying hello and a few brief words today, I mean, obviously the Church of Ireland does not have the same ecclesiastical relationship to the King as the Church of England would, and there would be very, very regular meetings, even at a time like this. But as someone watching and making the progress around the UK, it is very clear that this is a difficult thing to do, and it is a remarkable thing, and in a way very like his mother that he is able to do it.
Archbishop John McDowell, Archbishop of Armagh, thank you very much for talking to us today. Coming up, I'm going to be joined by Sir John Sawers, the former head of MI6, who will be giving me his assessment of the war in Ukraine. But first, it's 6:29 and Amelia Cox has your news headlines.
The Queen has left Scotland for the final time after lying in rest at St Giles Cathedral for 24 hours. Her Majesty's coffin is on its way back to London, where it will be placed in Buckingham Palace overnight. The Queen will then lie in state for 4 days from later tomorrow. King Charles has now left Belfast after making his first trip to Northern Ireland as monarch. Western officials believe Russia will continue its retreat from swathes of Ukraine until Kiev's forces recapture an area almost half the size of Wales. Intelligence suggests Russian troops will consolidate their firepower in the south rather than try to seize back lost land. LBC weather: rain in the south tonight, heavy and thundery in places, largely clear elsewhere, lows of 8 degrees.
This is LBC.
At Related Argent, we're passionate about transforming locations into enjoyable places to visit and call home. We're the people behind the places people love, including New York's Hudson Yards, London's iconic King's Cross, and now Brent Cross Town, our new park town for future London, set in 50 acres of parks and playing fields with incredible homes, a new high street, and a vision to be net zero carbon by 2030. All just 12 minutes from King's Cross. To find out more, search Related Argent.
The new iconic Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 4 is now available at Vodafone with an amazing deal. You can save up to £600 with unbeatable trade-in. Just trade in an eligible device using our trade-in tool. And our trade-in price won't be beaten by any other network standard prices. Now available with Vodafone Evo. Go online or in-store. Vodafone.
Ends 23rd of September. Trade-in price per eligible device in good working condition versus other mobile networks excluding promos. Terms, checks and saving info at vodafone.co.uk/trade-in.
During the Air France rendezvous, take advantage of great offers. Until the 27th of September, book your flight to Dubai from £389 or St Martin from £619. From London Heathrow via Paris, return including tax. And with Air France, you can expect care and attention from our expert staff. Elegance is a journey. Air France. To book and for terms and conditions, visit airfrance.co.uk.
I took a